that these people haven't done well. So I think it's just to tell them that they can do more.
Yeah, they can do more, I believe so. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. As Nigeria marks the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, widows of fallen heroes stated that they are struggling to survive. They lament their living conditions and appeal to the federal and state governments to empower them. They said they saw the Armed Forces Remembrance Day as a painful reminder of their husbands' sacrifices for the country. Fallen Heroes Association in Gombe, Lagos, Cross River and other states expressed disappointment over abandonment by the federal and state governments. Dotun, the price of sacrifice, the predicament of families of fallen heroes. Some might even call them the unsung heroes. That's the families of the fallen heroes, neglected by the armed forces, the government, and by the country. How depressing is this?
Well, I will also try to put this in context.
Okay.
When a man leaves service, even as, retires, we still have that kind of problem we are talking about. Why? Because the terms and conditions of the service, they are not as good as they should be. We should also not forget that whoever was earning, say, 5,000 naira 10 years ago is better than the man earning 100,000 naira today. So sometimes when they do this once in a year handout, you hear a governor say, the widows of the fallen heroes, 50 million.
Yeah, I think Rivers State Governor actually did something.
If he has done that, how much is 50 million when you... So what, for me, we should focus on is to go back, like I said the last time on this program, and work on that harmonized, the improved conditions of service. When you look at what this has brought out now, it has told us what each person can get after retirement. That same paper, we should go back to it and ensure that those who die in service, we should have them properly taken care of. If we still need to go back here and work on it, because for me, this yearly handout
doesn't work.
It will work.
I don't think it's not just those who died. How about those who are now retired?
Yeah, that's what
we saw them protesting.
Exactly.
You know,
that's what I said. I said from the onset that even those who are living,
yes,
they are going through this. Not on top of those, the family of those who are dead. Because if you are living, you can still go make your point. And where will these people start from? Where will they start? We need to go back and look at the conditions of service. That will encourage our people to do better. And then they know that, like the private sector, let me earn well. Let me be able to save well. And take care of my family. And also, we must talk to those servicemen themselves. The way they live, they must watch it. While you are alive, what did you plan for your family?
We're still going to talk about that. We'll still talk about that. But, Kaidi, if the fallen heroes could turn back the hands of time, looking at the way their families were neglected, you know, in poverty and treated, do you think they'll be willing to do this again?
You know, maybe just on record, my father happens to be, he didn't spend many years in the Air Force. It was just during the Civil War. And so he still has a relationship, he still talks about those services. And, you know, one good thing about them is that, and when Dottie was talking about them, I was like, I wish they understand what they're saying. Many of them already have that mindset that they could be gone anytime. It's a very strange mindset, but that's the way an average,
Serviceman.
that's the way they think. So as far as they are concerned, I remember having very, very casual discussion with them during our service year, and they were telling us that, hey, they are the most romantic men you can marry. They were telling the core members that, excuse me, when we die, you take over. And they were saying that we are very caring. We don't even touch our wives. We don't even lift our hands. We can be deadly at the war front, but this is how we are. That sends a lot of message to me to let me know that, good, they do it effortlessly. They do it selflessly. They do it with a mind that whether you take care of me or not, it's a calling for me to defend my nation. So such people deserve more from whoever they are fighting for. People who will not look back, people who will not betray the loyalty they've confessed to the country. However, you see, just to put it in context, because every January 15th, a lot of people just think about the people that fought the Civil War. Yes, that's the significance. 1970. How many years back now? We're talking about
54, 58, I think. Yeah, 54.
Now 54, going to 55 years. So, but the big message is, what about those people that have been killed?
Yes.
In the insurgency
Boko
war?
Haram.
All of them.
The number seems to even be more.
Yeah.
That might be an exaggeration, but I'm not very accurate with my figure. But just to let you know that their wives are also crying. If you read that report, their widows are also crying that, hey, my husband was wasted in court. My husband was killed in Boronu. My husband was killed in Adamawa. My husband was killed in some of these northeastern states.
Lots of them.
So please, if they didn't get it right, let us find the middle ground. Let us start doing it right. Let people join the army with so much pride. Because a good number of people are running away now. And if some people want to join army, they don't want to be pushed to the war front. So why are you a member of the,
All right. But you talked about the way they live. Now let's talk about life insurance. Do you think the government should come up with some sort of special life insurance policy, or some sort of benefits, for members of their families, so that they can? I saw a documentary, and it was really sad.
Those things are there.
It was really sad.
Those things are there. If you follow the news, you see that virtually every month the police present checks to families of. But the big question is, how much is it? That's the point I was making. Because if you say this insurance, you are distributing, say, 100 million to about 50 families. And that comes
to 2 million
once in a year. How significant is that? One of the things as a civilian that I made up my mind about when I was going to get married was that my wife must be working. And she must learn how to make money. Till now, we still have our differences over that. Because it's not only the people in service who carry guns that know that they can die any minute. I also know. Because I keep saying to my family, when you go out in the morning and you come back, especially in our climb, it is a bonus of one day. So if I die today and my wife can't make money, what happens to the family? So that's why I said these things must begin from proper investments in your family. So that when something happens, there's somebody who is taking over. Because no matter what the government is going to do, you are only, they are very important, but only also a fraction of the population. And they can't get all that they need. So as we are clamoring for this insurance, we should also be telling ourselves that investment is important for these people too.
To make sure, like entrepreneurship and all of it.
All of that.
Trade, just...
There was a time they used to also say we journalists are reckless people in terms of living. When a journalist dies, the wife is, in those days, probably not working, and then there is a problem. So we who are coming up now are now saying, see, things must be done differently. A journalist doesn't want to be a tenant forever now, because he knows that one day something can happen, and nobody is going to look back.
Okay. Now, to wrap it up, yesterday was Armed Forces Remembrance Day, and we'll always celebrate them. I saw somewhere that even in America, the UK, once they see a serviceman, an average American would say, thank you for your service. But in Nigeria, when you see a serviceman, a soldier, do we as Nigerians even say thank you? Now, yesterday we celebrated them, but I just want to ask you, maybe just in 30 seconds, do you think our armed forces, do you think they are celebrated enough?
Yeah, it's a combination of two things, and unfortunately, we just have to say it the way it is. The American history is different from our history. Sure. We came out of them in 1999, and the experience generally wasn't palatable. You know, we see them as people who were brutal, we see them as people who do not have respect for human dignity, but the civilians have been able to change it. They are changing the narrative. Let me know that they have changed. They're changing the narratives, and the military is also proving to us that they are subservient to the civilian government.
The constitution.
So until we see that clearly stated out, because we still see them misbehave. We must say it the way it is. We see some of them,
especially those on the road.
Exactly. We see some of them and say, how dare you make call when I'm ask your car to stop. Yes, it might be the normal thing, but do it with respect. So that American that is doing like this to a military man, that American knows that the military man will respect him. That American man knows the military man respects democracy above every other thing. So it's a two-way
So I guess the military should do a lot of reorientation,
that is
rule
why
of engagement.
The military civil department
exactly
establishes.
Exactly.
I do something. I don't need to say thank you to you when I see you in uniform. When we're on the queue, I allow you to take your turn first.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something I don't shy away from. That shows you that
and we should be able to pick them on the road when they're on the road too.
I respect you. Unfortunately, picking them on the road is now dangerous. Because you don't even know who's an armed robber wearing a uniform.
It's a Nigerian problem.
Yeah, it's a function. But the other things that we see, you are the airport, you are the eatery, you see them. Sometimes
pay the abuse.
Pay their bills.
I say that some transporters they don't even take money from them.
My dad died as a commissioner of police some years back. Active service.
Yes.
And I knew how much we got.
All right, gentlemen. It's a fine place for us to leave it. Dr. Oladipo, thank you so much for joining us on the show. To have this beautiful conversation. Kaide Ladidi, appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. We also want to say thank you to the gentlemen and women in the back room, pressing the buttons, as always, for us to have a beautiful show. And that's it on Journalists Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Genga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.